Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is the Octane Infinity Fantasy Basketball Show, the preview show, the premiere of the 2001-2012 season on Octane Infinity TV. We are going to discuss today actually, not really much of a discussion. I'm just going to go over with you the complete rosters before the basketball season starts later today. Merry Christmas, by the way. It is December 25th, 2011, and the NBA is back, and could be a better Christmas present for us fans, particularly of those gentlemen that make up the league at Octane Infinity. So let's get started. I'm going to discuss first the roster for the reigning league champion Mike Jones and the Cobra Kai. As you can see from his roster here, his big name player, Kevin Durant. And this guy is prime to be a leading candidate for the MVP this season, and he has been projected virtually anywhere I can read on the internet as the number one fantasy basketball player. So maybe that will work out real well for Mike this season. After the draft, he did end up dropping one of his players. He let go of Daniel Boobie Gibson of Cleveland and picked up Jermaine O'Neal, the Boston Celtics. May work out well for him if O'Neal can remain healthy, or if he might well keep him. He's got this going for him. He's the only true center in Boston right now since Shaq retired, and honestly, I don't know what else they have. So hopefully that'll work out for him. He's got pretty good depth right now at the center position. It appears like with the veteran Tim Duncan. DeAndre Jordan, the up-and-coming center for the Los Angeles Clippers, and of course the Knicks' newly acquired man in the middle, Tyson Chandler. We'll get some good blocks there. The runner-up for last season was Adams Jobbers, and he has kept his team intact after draft day. And a new addition for him this year would be Dwight Howard. I don't think he's ever experienced having a center quite like D12. Adam, I hope that works out real well for you. This guy has been a monster for me in the past seasons. As you know, I've raved about him repeatedly, often, and frequently. He'll still be among the league leaders amidst all the trade talks that out of Orlando, looking to shop Dwight Howard to other teams. He'll still remain among the league leaders in block shots and rebounds and possibly field goal percentage. You did pick up a Carmelo Anthony. Adam picked up Melo, the Knicks forward, and looks like Yahoo's made him eligible at two positions, small forward and power forward, and maybe they'll give him some flexibility with his lineup. I also like Captain Jack for Adam's team too, and I think he'll get good point guard production out of Mike Conley and Devin Harris out of Utah. Maybe not so much DJ Augustine, Adam. I'm kind of hoping he gets his minutes taken from my rookie Kemba Walker. But we'll see how the season progresses, how well that works out for you. The third place GM last year was Scott Hacksaw. Has not made any moves since draft day. It looks like he's going to keep his team intact. He's really, really rich at the point guard position with Stephen Curry, Darren Williams, and Steve Nash. Also, Ty Lawson, another up-and-comer. We'll probably look for big things out of him for the Denver Nuggets this year. And Brendan Haywood, I want to highlight Brendan Haywood. Scott barely spent anything, if anything at all, in the draft to acquire his services. With Tyson Chandler gone to New York, big things are expected out of Hayward. So hopefully he'll get some good front court production from Haywood to complement Andrew Bynum that he also has, and Greg Monroe too. So pretty solid. And if that doesn't work out, he's also picked up Andres Biedrins out of Golden State. Assuming he'll play, if he does, he'll probably get some good rebounding numbers as well. For that third place position, Scott beat out Renee last year. Renee has some pretty good studs up in the front line with Dirk, Stat, and Nene. Even Kevin Garnett, Michael Beasley, if you can count those guys, as they'll probably play big minutes for their respective teams. Renee did make some moves after draft day. He let go of Thaddeus Young and Taj Gibson. Picks up Orlando's new forward, Glenn Big Baby Davis, and J.J. Hickson out of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Looking at his lineup, he'll get some good defensive numbers. I'm thinking out of his guards with James Harden and O.J. Mayo. And the assist category, I'm hoping he can stay competitive with. I know I had Brandon Jennings for his rookie season, and he was great for me there. And Tony Douglas, who I guess is assuming the starting position at point guard for the Knicks, so maybe he'll get some good numbers out of those guys. The winner of the consolation bracket last year was Edwin, our commissioner. Looking at his roster, the first thing that kind of stands out is Kobe Bryant. He did invest heavily into the Black Mamba, and I guess he's got an injured wrist, torn ligament in his shooting hand, as a matter of fact. So he's listed as day to day. Hope he doesn't set out too long for you, Edwin, because you probably will need him. Although you do got some good swing guys with Nick Young, C.J. Miles, and the Blazers' Jamal Crawford. So I think you'll do well there. It's Kevin Martin. Well, Kevin Martin is also a great player, good scoring shooting guard that can get to the line and shoot at a high percentage. Also in the front line, you're pretty solid with Al Horford, and looks like Yahoo made LaMarcus Aldridge eligible at the center position with all the injuries that have been going on with the Portland Trailblazers. So if that's the case, man, that team could be running, and running teams will usually lead to big numbers. Edwin beat out my team last year for that consolation bracket. But, if you look at my team, I'm still trying to make an analysis out of it. I guess I'll just have to wait till the first week if I can come up with something conclusive. But I really, I talked about how Edwin invested in Kobe Bryant. I spent a lot of money in this auction to acquire LeBron James. Having the King is kind of new for me. I know he's an MVP caliber player, always has been, and he's eligible at two positions, small forward, power forward. He's a great all-around player, so I'm thinking and hoping he gets me numbers across the board. Familiar names for my team, as many of the other GMs may notice, will be Russell Westbrook and Tracy McGrady. I probably might not keep McGrady around as he barely played during preseason, and hope that's not an indicator that Larry Drew won't play him very much in Atlanta. But I also have the Hawks' Joe Johnson. His numbers have declined in each of the last 5 seasons. I hope that trend doesn't continue, but we'll wait and see. I do have Caron Butler, and I'm going to shift gears back to the front line because also new territory for me is Joakim Noah. I could not, with what I invested in LeBron James, I could not acquire Dwight Howard, so I'm hoping this bargain version of Dwight Howard and Joakim Noah will pay off for me. Moving on, we go to Jonas's team. I like Jonas's team for a few players. I can tell you right off the bat with Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose. I think they'll be sensational contributors for him. He's also got the return of Rashard Lewis. I'm very hopeful he'll do something for you, even though he's in a new city playing for the Wizards. He's still eligible at shooting and power forward, so maybe he can get some threes at the 4 position. Excuse me here. And looks like his point guards, besides Derrick Rose, he's got Jose Calderon, and I don't know where he's going to be in the Toronto rotation. He also has a newcomer in Ricky Rubio. Rubio was drafted by Adam, who gave up his draft rights in the auction draft night, and Jonas has picked him up. A lot of versatile players, including DeMarcus Cousins, Sean Marion, and Manu Ginobili, and hopefully that will give him some production. One thing I want to point out, he has drafted Brook Lopez, and from what I understand, he has a foot injury and may be out for a substantial amount of time. So I'm not sure if Jonas is going to hang on to the guy, but he's certainly got some depth at the center position to do just that. If he wants to hang on, he'll have some other guys that can contribute in his absence. Next is, we won't call him Good Mike anymore. I'm going to call him Ripcord Rorogowski, or just Ripcord. but he has invested into. He's been really good in the past about picking up individuals who are right at the top of the stat lines. In certain categories, like Chris Paul, for example, is his big money player here, and he's always been at the top of steals and assists. Josh Smith also in blocks as well. Uh, Oh yeah, I gotta point out he won the blind auction for Anthony Randolph. The other 11 GMs probably really don't care about it, but we'll see if he hangs on or if he even plays. But I see that Mike's also picked up Chris Kaman. With him no longer being with the Clippers, I hope he hasn't fallen under the radar. But he should, if he remains healthy, be a solid contributor as well. And then he's also kept Jason Kidd on his roster. Kidd's been on Mike's teams for the past years and done well for him, even at his old age now. He's now a champion in Dallas, and maybe Rick Carlisle can keep his minutes steady in this lockout shortened season. We'll see. Same with Vince Carter, who's also been Kidd's teammate before. Maybe those two can get some old New Jersey Nets magic going there and provide big numbers for Ripcord. Now on to Chris. Chris is continuing to build himself a solid roster. In the past couple years, he hasn't done so well, but maybe things will turn around. And looking at it right now, it appears that Miami Heat may be his favorite team. He's got Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. But he's got good foul shooters. I think he'll remain competitive in the free throw percentage category if Ray Allen and Chauncey Billups can get to the line a lot and anchor that category. And looks like he's retained his rookie rights for Derek Williams. One thing I want to point out, he's got Luis Scola. Luis Scola did really well in the absence of Yao Ming last year, and it doesn't appear that they're going to get too much, or they have acquired too much help. They picked up Samuel Dallenberg, but I don't think he'll dig into Scola's numbers very much. So I think Chris may be fine there. Evan is no longer a rookie GM in our league, so he's got some experience under his belt, and I think he's coming out strong right now with his frontline guys. Evan really loves Kevin. Kevin Love, by the way, is who I'm talking about, the league leader by a huge margin in the rebound category last year, and this guy pretty good overall. He can shoot threes at the center position as well as rebound and score. So Zach Randolph has also been a good double guy, maybe even a 2010 guy. So he's good on the front line. I'm hoping he may do well, or he will do well eventually in the backcourt. It looks like he's already given up the George Hill, the guy who he drafted in the auction, and picked up John Salmon. So I think he traded for some good scoring there. Hill might lose out minutes to Darren Collison in Indiana. We'll see. But he's also Evans also picked up Ramon Sessions to complement his other point guards, Tony Parker and his rookie Kyrie Irving, who looked pretty good in the preseason. So may do pretty good there. Now on to our two newest GMs. First is David Camp of Camp's Champs. Big Trouble has a good front line as well with Pau Gasol and David Lee. And they play for high-tempo teams, so they should get some good numbers. He's also made some moves in the early going of his GM career with Octane Infinity. He's dropped Shane Battier and his rookie Brandon Knight, picking up Philadelphia's Lewis Williams and Detroit's Charlie Villanueva. Also want to point out he's got Paul Pierce, not a big favorite of mine, Diesel, so don't be surprised if that guy turns out to be a cancer for you. I'm letting you know right now, this early in the season. The other new GM is Matt Bob, also known as the Giant. He's got a pretty well-balanced team, balanced in terms of the money he spent among his top 5 players, and balanced among positions. He's got a lot of multi-positional players, but I like his front line. His centers will do well. Al Jefferson didn't miss a game last year, and I thought Emeka Okafor was pretty consistent for me as well last season. Hopefully Serge Ibaka's numbers won't be hurt with the Thunder's addition of Kendrick Perkins. We will just wait and see. There are 5 games on the Christmas Day schedule today. I will definitely be watching. Every one of those games is televised, so stay glued to the TV. You're going to be in for a lot of excitement this year in the NBA. So that's my preseason wrap up for Octane Infinity Fantasy Basketball, exclusively on the Octane Infinity TV network at YouTube. That's it from here. You guys have a great Christmas, and boom goes the dynamite.